Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to an all-new Big Little Lies after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're recapping Season 1, Episode 3, titled Living the Dream. We love this episode and have a lot to say, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, hey guys.
We need our champagne. So
Yeah.
sing along like they did.
Sure.
Just
I
hit me out.
I don't know the words, so.
I don't know. Neither I was banking on you guys knowing these words.
Well, you guys just sway back and forth like
just
Chloe
vibe it
does.
out.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to another Big Little Lies after show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. Let's start on this side of the table because we are joined by these amazing ladies.
Hey guys, I'm Jessie Zahner. You can find me all over social media at Athletic.
And my name is Raquel Harris. You can find me on all social media as well at Raquel Harris TV.
Awesome. And I'm Ryann Graham. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 N's Graham and on Instagram at Instagram, and that's spelled like the Teddy Graham.
I leave him for the last just because he's like our token man and we love him. And we're
That's always the best.
so happy he's on the panel.
Bringing a little testosterone. to
Yes.
things, I
Yeah, because
suppose.
we need it, especially with the men in this episode.
Oh, absolutely. And of
Because they showed
course,
their testosterone.
oh, oh man, it was too much. It was
Thirsty.
too much.
Guys are weird.
testosterone.
We're weird. We're weird creatures.
Yeah.
I'll just go
Just-
out and say it.
It
We're
was a
weird.
little hashtag pervish, just a little bit. I was like,
Oh, I did get that vibe too. I hope we're talking about the same scene
Yeah,
because
no, we
I got
are.
the same thing. I was like, this seems a little
weird.
inappropriate, but
It's
I
a
didn't
little-
know it
Okay,
was
well, I'm not really sure what you're talking about yet, but I'm Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, SamD43, and we have the live chat rolling
Yes.
right now. So, guys, just chat.
What's
we
up?
love your comments throughout the week. It's a lot of fun. So overall, I think you guys thought this episode, things started to happen, right?
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. This was a very fun to watch, but also very depressing to watch episode. I mean, it's always kind of like, oh, this is so much, like just to carry emotionally, but at the same time, it was very, very like fun, like packed full of a lot of
Right.
things happening.
Yes,
So
definitely
Yeah, it
full
picked up.
of action.
yeah.
Or one of our computers, is it one of our computers playing?
I know something's.
Was it mine?
Something is playing.
There we go. We got
Yeah.
it.
Oh, geez.
It's okay,
Sorry,
though.
I
We got
can't
it.
hear.
We have to keep the party lit all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what that was. So
Yeah, it's
thank
okay.
you.
Hey.
Well, again, it's really fun to watch you guys watch the show because I'm just biting my tongue and keeping quiet.
Yeah.
Because I do think, first of all, David E. Kelley, who's, adapted the show for television, writing it, is one of my favorite writers and producers on TV, but he said he's keeping it very close to what the book was, and I am seeing a lot of smaller differences, which one this episode I'll talk about, which I think is very impactful to the interpretation versus book and TV. But all in all, I'm just watching you guys, and I'm like, so what do you guys think? Tell me.
I know,
Right.
and I'm like, tell me if I'm
Yeah, no,
right.
please. I like
You
point me
are
in the
the
right
one that's like,
direction.
no, tell me.
I know.
I hate that. Like, I'm that person that's like, no, don't tell me anything. Like with books, with movies, TV shows, no.
Frank Ocean.
Leave.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about Frank Ocean, and I was like, no, don't
do
tell
it.
me, don't tell me.
Yes.
But I guess knowing that it is sticking closely to the book, it makes sense now because the pacing of the show for me is a bit slow. But knowing that they are trying to stick to the book, I'm like, okay, I can understand why it feels that way because books tend to take a lot more time to get to the meat. And I'm like, okay. And this is I think by this point we have to be chapter 7, 8.
I'm trying to think. I was
That's a good
actually thinking the same thing too, because a lot of stuff does happen this episode where the ball does start rolling, and we're only gonna have 7. It's essentially a miniseries,
Right.
Yeah.
So we're only having 7 episodes, so we're almost halfway through, which is what the book is, which is crazy.
Right.
I want to start tonight just talking about Madeline and her family and Abigail. This entire situation.
Oh,
Yes.
I think we're on
it's
different
right.
sides of that.
I'm upset with Abigail.
Interesting.
I am. I don't like the fact that you're trying to leave, or you are leaving the home. I'm upset. I am, because I just feel like that's your mom. And you already know that she has these issues. Like, you know that she struggles with this. And I'm not saying to stay for her own sanity, of course, but you're so young and you don't really know what you want at this point in time. And I feel like you see Bonnie as this this hip and trendy person, and that's cool. But your mom at the end of the day knows what is right for you. And she may seem like she's abrasive or just aggressive, but at the same time, she's been there for me from jump to start. And I get upset with Gordon is the husband or the ex-husband, right?
Oh, no,
Nathan.
Gordon.
I'm
yes,
sorry,
Nathan.
not Gordon,
Gordon's
Nathan.
another husband.
Right.
Yeah, Nathan. And you don't even know.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, jeez.
he was a big D-bag, and I feel like they're not going to have enough time to explore it, so I'm kind of just going to say he really abandoned them.
And that's why, and I can I feel that impression from him, so it's like, girl, go back home. Go back home.
At the same time, though, it's like, you're the mom, and she's not, like, I don't know how old is she? She's not 18.
No.
16.
So it's
She's
like,
that's what I was
it's
thinking
like
too,
at
like
some
16.
point, like, stand up and be a parent and be like, tough shit, like, you're staying here.
Yes.
Like, I'm your mother. I've been with you all of this time. And
while I agree that it's like an angsty teenage thing. At the same time, I feel like I like the way Madeline handled it, because I feel like she was like, when Nathan came up to her and was like, "Are you okay with it?" And it's almost, I feel like he asked that question because he had a little win, and it was like he was trying to rub it in her face.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe I got from when he was talking to her.
Yes.
And I love that she was like, I guess I have to be. And like, I just love that she took a situation that was like kind of like really devastating and kind of was like, you know what, all right, I'm gonna let you make this decision. And I feel like that will bring her and her daughter closer together, because I feel like a lot of things she does pushes her daughter away. Do you guys not remember being, and maybe it was just me, I'll admit, I was a teenage like little turd. Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I remember like being terrible to my mom, and like I can look back now and go, oh, I see all of the things that you did, and it made me appreciate her more. So I feel like this is one of those moments where Madeline is saying, you know what, fine, I have to let you go. You will see.
Right.
And I think that kids always see things in the end. Like your parents can only tell you so much, but like when we grow up and we see it and we experience it, we then are like, oh, I get it. And I think this is one of those moments where she's gonna go live with Bonnie and Nathan, and then she's gonna be like, this is not what I want.
And I do agree with you. I think that this may bring her closer to Madeline, because they've already said, like, Madeline said to her, can we like schedule a girl time, like where we can hang out, and so maybe it will work. But I still, at some point, I feel like you're still the parent, so just like put your foot down and be like.
And it sucks because you kind of battle between like the mother and the father, like which one is more important or which one has like the higher say so.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, like I know if I was Madeline, I'd be like, nope, sorry. You're just
Right.
gonna
Oh, wow,
you're just
really?
gonna have to
There
suck it
at the
up.
beginning.
Exactly.
I'd be like, well,
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
so I grew up in a family that they got divorced young, and then I had a stepmom when I was like 10, and she was kind of the cool mom for a minute.
Right.
And my mom was devastated. Do you know what I mean?
That's
And
hurtful.
It was, and like I remember how hurt she was, and I was way younger than Abigail was, and I couldn't ever imagine doing that to her, knowing like my dad was at fault for their divorce, which Nathan was at fault for the divorce, and he has this new younger wife, and even though she was cool and everything, I mean, I would never do that to my
does
mom.
Abby know?
I mean, she does, because Nathan, just saying in the book, was not a part of her life for the first few years of her life. So,
Right.
But maybe there's that to it too. There's that draw of like, because I'm sure
You want that relationship.
She didn't have that, so it's like I think that Bonnie, it does appear to be very cool. Like, I mean, like she seems like,
does.
and she's younger in age, so like they have that kind of a connection. And then there's also that like, I want my dad's attention, and so I feel like there's those two things pulling her toward. And I'm not saying that Madeline doesn't have a right to be upset, which I feel like she is upset, but she's handling it well.
Definitely.
But I feel like I feel like if I was in her shoes, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, all right, dude, you will see, and I would send her off.
I mean, and at that age, you act out in different ways, and I can say, I mean, we all can relate to our
angst,
crazy, our crazy teenage years, and for sure. But because my parents were hard on me and said no, and taught me to be able to restrain myself, I now, like you said, you get older and you're like, okay, I now understand why that happened, and I feel like I agree with you, where it's like, no, put your foot down and say, I'm sorry, girl, you're gonna have to stay here, you're gonna have to deal with it, because in the real world, you can't get everything that you want right away. That's just not how it works.
I totally agree.
So no, stay
At the
home.
same time, if I was Madeline, I might be like, you know what, you're annoying me. Just get out of the house.
Yeah.
She was like ruining her life.
And she
Just
did
go.
have a nice line,
Bye.
well, at least I don't need to continue to make those vegan meals.
No.
True.
True.
Also, did anyone feel like it was weird when Madeline went into the counselor's office and they were talking about it? Did it feel like she was almost making it up? I will point that out. When Abby was in there and the way she was talking, it felt very much like this seems like an excuse. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you quickly needed to come up with a reason why this is happening, and you're covering up what really is going on.
Right.
And so part of me is like, how true is this whole oh, you're stressing me out at home, and what else are you doing? Because I also remember being a teenager,
Right.
and I also remember lying about things. So I'm just kind of curious to see where that goes.
No,
'Cause I'm
I
like, she might be
totally agree
lying.
with you because I think it's just the typical like you're a teenager, you hate your mom or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And your dad's always like super laid back. I mean, that's how it was in my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
So, and maybe she thinks she can get away with things if she goes live with her dad that she couldn't get away with if she's with her mom. I don't know, but I did feel like that was very like staged.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the two kids' birthday parties. I
Oh
want to make
my
sure
gosh.
we get to that,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
just like such a new funny narrative. I think because I mean this crap happens and it's
Oh, for sure.
ridiculous. And so Renata and Amabella, they're throwing Amabella's birthday party. Ziggy didn't get invited. We knew that a while ago. And so, Madeline decides to do a whole Disney on Ice thing and takes at the same day. And then they have a really funny
So
phone
petty.
conversation. What about that phone conversation between
my
Madeline and
God.
Renata?
It's just so petty.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. It's
and-
very high school.
and very passive aggressive. Like it was just so.
I was just waiting for Gretchen Wieners to like be on the line like third party.
Oh my God! Because I'm telling you, she is like Madeline is the Regina George of all of it. She
Oh.
really
Guys,
is.
no, I think she's nice.
She knows she's
No, I
nice.
used to, I'm on her side. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if that they want me to be on her side, but like I am on her side for sure. But like Renata was really trying there. She's like, I will take everybody VIP tour to like
Right.
Disney. You can go behind the scenes of Frozen, like all this ridiculous
Exactly.
stuff.
And it's like at that point, Madeline had won, and she could have taken her win and said,
Right.
"Okay, yes, you're right. I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah.
We'll be good to go." But no, Madeline had to continue to be petty and goes, "No, it's just not gonna work." And it's just so.
And then
Because you have to
Renata came
overstep
back.
it. You have to be the one that's like, nope, I got the last
But it
laugh.
just sucks
Oh,
because
yeah.
you can even hear her daughter. And I feel bad for not remembering. Is it
Chloe.
Chloe? Okay. Chloe was in the background like, "Oh no, can we still go?" Like she
Aw,
wanted to go, and
I
it's
know.
like at this point you're not even thinking about your children.
Yeah.
You just want to win.
You're just
Like,
being selfish.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You just want to win.
And I hate that too. That type of parenting where it's like, oh, I'm going to use my kids to spite someone. That's
Right.
It's just and it's weird because even though Jane's the younger person, she's not even in all of that. She's not even like doing any of that. She's just like, look, I have my own devils that I need
Yeah.
to deal with.
I don't have time for that.
Right,
So I'm
right.
unconcerned.
And it's weird because they're the ones that are like the veterans in there, and so they're the ones that are actually the being ones that are petty. So I guess it's I don't know because I agree with you when you said that you like Jane because I relate to Jane a lot too. She's just very vibey and she just kind of sits back and chill. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm more of a Madeline.
Are you?
I like
Oh my
Madeline
god.
and Jane.
Yeah, Madeline and Jane.
Yeah.
I
Because all
will-
my girls.
Yeah.
I will say with the specific storyline though with Madeline and the birthday parties, I was like, she should have stopped. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
she was wrong.
yeah.
She was in the wrong. This is about kids,
Right.
and it's not about you.
Right.
So that's where I said, okay, this isn't. And in the book, it was the same too, but she does end up kind of redeeming herself in this way and that. But it was kind of sad, especially to see the kids kind of be affected by the mother's pettiness.
Yeah.
It's just horrible because I do feel like petty stuff does happen with women like this, and it's really hard to see and just like watch in front of me because I'm like, I hope this doesn't happen to my life. But like even like later in the episode when
Yeah,
Renata talks
she
about
said.
like being spontaneous and like being fun. And like I'm like, oh my god, like I'm like watching what's gonna happen in my life in
You're
years to
young
come.
Renata. Like,
No, I'm not. But like it's really scary. Like I'm like watching the show and like the husbands are like trying to like calm their wives aside from Perry, and it's just like it's just like, oh my god, this is so depressing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very. But you know what though? I feel like they're in a community where like nothing else is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
so there's no what else? What else?
Yeah,
would I
so
have?
we
That's
have
not
to,
the
we have to
drama.
let's make the drama because
Right.
there
I
is no
hope
drama.
so.
Yeah, it's
And-
like why doesn't anybody just watch a TV show?
And then I feel like at that, like I feel like having a level of affluence also separates you from reality in the sense that you don't have to worry about like some day-to-day struggles that a lot of people have to worry about, like, oh,
Yes.
I need to make sure my bills are covered, or like other stressors. And so when you don't have those stressors, you still have that need
Yes.
to like
Yeah.
not necessarily need, but that instinctual like something needs to be wrong. 'Cause
Right.
I think
Yeah.
we have become so wired in society to be like worrying about something,
Right.
and so when you take away like primary needs like shelter, food, and stuff like that, and those aren't worries for you, you then become
you have to-
worried about silly
exactly.
things.
Well, and actually, somebody says that about I think Celeste. Somebody says like she was beautiful, she was smart, she was madly in love. Something had to be wrong. It's like,
Yeah.
why can't people just be themselves? Why do we have to think something's wrong with somebody. I mean, there
And why do
obviously
you
was
care?
though.
There is,
And it
but-
actually reminds me of this old school episode of Sex and the City. Sorry, just had to give a call back to that one.
Hey.
But you know, Charlotte, when she's like about to get she gets pregnant after she gets married to Harry, and she just like says to herself, "I'm so happy. I'm so scared that something bad is going to happen to me," and then like it does, and that's always the story. And I love that the show just literally says it, because we have this really cool narrative of people being interviewed by the detective.
Yeah.
So it's just very like
It's out there.
blatant. Yeah, it's very out there. Since you brought up Renata and Gordon, we got to see a lot more of them get introduced more to their couple than we had in the past 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And he's a hoot to me. He's not. I feel like they made his character bigger in the show than they did in the book. In the book, he was just kind of like a filler, like a yes, whatever you say kind of thing. But he's weird.
He's weird. I almost feel like he doesn't quite fit into like whatever she's a part of, like her
Yeah.
social circle.
I feel like okay. Can I just touch on the
Is that what
in
you
the
were talking
office?
about? Okay, the creepy moment.
No, creepy
No,
moment.
no,
I
no.
think, can we, do we want to go?
Can I talk about the office scene
Yeah.
though? What? Like, okay, so they just had sex in the office, and like you're at your place of business, your professional office, and you're having sex that loud. Come on now, control yourselves.
I feel like once you get to a certain level, you can do whatever you
No,
want.
no. I'm sorry.
100% think
but
you can do whatever you want.
I mean, it's not that you can do whatever you want. You absolutely can. But why would you do that? Like, why would you even want people in your business? I mean, for me, I would have a certain level of professionalism to where I've gotten to that point to where I'm not doing that type of stuff anymore. Like, of course, and on top of that, if you're a boss woman, you can go home or you can take a break and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Now, unless you're trying to, like, create some type of like fantasy or something like that, that's just weird. And I wouldn't want my employees or someone that I'm working with to hear me have a personal moment with my husband. So I mean, of course, like, you know, have your sexcapade at work, but at the same time, I just felt like, in what world does that actually happen? I do not know.
I've heard.
but-
I guess I just feel like it doesn't seem that far fetched to me. Like, I'm like, I totally feel like people would do that because they can. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would, but I'm like, I feel like there are definitely people who have sex in their offices.
No,
100.
having sex in the office,
While people are
yes,
there.
but that loud to where you're banging on the door, someone's obviously next door to you. That's a little weird, and I felt like that was very unlike Renata.
Well,
Okay.
I think
So-
it's the same kind of case that you are doing it because you can, and that there's not going to be any consequences for you, which is kind of just like a crappy, you know, privileged person type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very distasteful. I was like, ew, okay, no more Renata.
And I mean, I don't think it's like a white person thing, a black person thing. I think anybody that has a lot of money, like, they do things like that.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think it's race at all.
No,
I mean,
no,
I
No,
just,
but I was thinking that to myself. I was just like, oh, like, white people privilege. And I'm like, you know what? No, anybody that has a ton of money would, like, do that.
I think wealth can provide privilege as well, and like I think that is
for
what they do. They definitely have like a wealth privilege, and I think that is probably where this stems from. Is their wealth, not necessarily their.
well, and I
race.
think too, her being so loud, I feel like she's trying to force people to make
Look
them
at me.
understand. Well, that and just like, oh, I have a normal life too. I'm normal. Me and my husband have sex. Like it's. I feel like she feels like she can't really relate to the rest of the world, so she's trying to force everyone else to understand, like, I'm normal too, like, I can do this, like, yes, me and my husband have sex, and we're actually super, super loud, it's really, really good, you don't have to ask me questions, because you already know what I did.
Good.
It's, like, weird, like, it's
Yeah.
just, it's very,
No.
very, like, it was just such a,
Weird.
it was not Renata, so when I saw that scene, I was like, oh, okay.
But then you hear her talk later when she's on the steps of the court, and she's like, "But you desired me." So I feel like that there is an internal
Need
desire
for
or need
attention.
or- yeah. Well. Yeah.
Well, she says you just want to have sex all the time,
Yeah.
and he's literally in his like sneakers, and he's like crawling up the stairs, and he's like, "What?" Like, no, and I'm like, "You're wearing sneaker, but Adidas?" Like, I'm just they.
Hey, Adidas are popping now.
yeah.
I mean, clearly he's a very
Yeezys.
rich man. He's choosing to wear these, but
Yeah.
he's acting as though like, and I do feel for her because that. Oh God, this is messed up. Like, it was nice of him if he always just wants to have sex with her, and then that one time he wants to woo her. It's not nice of him, but like, I could see how she could see the difference.
Get
Right,
swept in the
right,
moment.
right. It's like, I'm just here we're just having casual sex as if I was someone
Right, it's
else.
just someone else.
Yeah, and I feel like that's unfortunate because I feel like that kind of, or at least I hear that happens in marriage where it's like, I'm just here, like we're just being a partnership in sex. It's not like, it's like, okay, you feel like having sex tonight? Or texting them, you want sex tonight? You know,
How
and that's
about next
sad.
Wednesday?
And like that's like I don't want right.
Yeah,
and
it
I
makes
don't want
me sad for
that.
the future, I guess.
Right, because like you hear so many bad things about marriage, and honestly, this show is like just perpetuating it even more. So I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, oh God, what's life? But yeah.
But can I ask a personal question, all of you guys? Are we in relationships?
I'm not.
Yeah.
You're not?
Yes.
Yes, you are. You two are.
Are you single as well?
Oh, yeah.
Single side? Yes.
The single side, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Cup side.
Yeah,
right.
So you guys are just getting ready, and we're laughing at you.
Yeah, 'cause I'm like,
Oh no, I cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, not marriage, no time soon.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not. Okay.
What?
No.
I didn't have
Oh
any
no,
way.
I
Wait,
won't
can
be
we-
getting married anytime soon.
Can we talk about the moment? Because I think we thought the same thing. Was the moment that was weird, that we thought was weird, at least I will say
Okay.
mine, was when Adam Scott, why can I not think of his name in the show?
Ed.
When Ed was watching Abby take pictures, I felt very weird about that. Is that not what you were
No.
thinking?
I
Okay,
definitely
it was
did
weird.
think that, but I was like, no, I did, and I don't know why I thought that. I just it's weird. Like, I didn't come from a family where I had a stepdad, so I don't know what that's like.
Right,
but I
right.
did feel kind of weird, and then I'm like, no, Ed's a nice guy. Like,
That's what I
But
thought.
I did feel kind of weird. So
Well,
I don't know
It
why.
scared me,
but
and I mean, you know more than we know. But I'm just saying, like,
She's like-
I'm just like because the way storytelling works is that like most characters have a character flaw. Ed, to this point, does not have one.
Right, and this
so
show
that
is
moment,
dark.
and that's what I'm saying. So that moment, I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
this is alluding to his character flaw, and that makes me really scared.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's
no.
what Abby's going through, and that's why.
I can't.
All right,
Ryan.
I don't think that is what's happening, but I will say this. I know that they're keeping, no, this wasn't happening in the book.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
that none of that happened in the book, but I know that like what you said is really true. In the book, Ed doesn't really have any flaws except for
Interesting.
being
Well,
kind
he
of like
doesn't seem
being
like
able
it.
to
I
be walked
know.
over by.
But I'm saying
love
most
it.
stories
No,
stories
but it's
have
true. I
people.
did
Right.
feel
And they're
certain way.
adding layers, is what they said. They were adding layers to the story. So I didn't even pick up on that, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and that to me, that makes more sense for Abby to say, I need to get out of this house.
Oh, because of
and
that.
then, but she's like, I don't want to talk about this. This is not something I'm going to bring up. What can I use
Right.
as an excuse? Mom's driving me crazy.
Good
Let me get out of
point.
this house.
I
And
never
I'm saying
thought of
that
that.
makes way more sense. And like for her to be covering that up as opposed to just being mad at her mom, I'm like, that seems
Right.
kind of silly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I mean, I would hate for that to be the case for Ed because he
Yeah.
does seem like a nice person. But that's how storytelling works.
Well, and I
Character
didn't think
flaws.
of it that deep. I just, at the beginning, the way the lighting was, it was like darker and it was quiet in the house, and they were kind of had this like weird interaction. I was like, oh, where is this gonna go? And then it stopped. So then I was like, okay, good.
There's
like he's
nothing to
fine.
it.
Like because
Yeah.
I want to believe everybody in this show
Yeah.
is good, but
Well, I don't think they are.
no,
hope not.
no, I know
Oh,
that.
Oh,
It's
no,
the
yeah, I'm
story.
sure. No, they're
Right.
not.
Well,
They will.
speaking of, we have this. I mean, the Celeste and Perry of this episode, it was very well done. I will
Yeah.
say.
Yes, it was. They're great actors, but I'm like, their relationship makes me sick.
It's so.
It makes you want to throw up, right? You're scared and want to throw up at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree that they are very, very scary. But at the same time, I guess like at the end part when they were like dancing and he's like, I don't know, I just feel like he's like in this imaginary world. I don't feel like he sees her, and I feel like, I mean, not for all men, but I feel like oftentimes men kind of, they don't really pay attention to women the same way that they do like a man, in the sense of I feel like they just kind of objectify women. They don't really see them as like a soul that actually has the same feelings and concerns and beliefs and thoughts as men do. And I feel like that's how Perry treats Celeste. And like I feel like that just, it was shown in this episode, because like when they went to the counselor and she's telling him all these different things, and then he asked her when they're in the kitchen, oh, what are you thinking about? And she's like, I'm trying to figure out if I'm happy or sad. And then he just says, okay, I want to play the song for you. And I'm like, so are we
She's
just
gonna glaze over her feelings.
right? And like, and I get it. Like, I know you're trying to create this romantic mood, but it's like you're totally missing. You're not even hearing me right
she's
now.
saying.
So, and like, I feel like she goes along with it because men know how to get into a woman's mind and to woo them and be like, just don't give up on me.
Just
Y'all
like
just
showing
love
up
me.
while they're showering with a diamond necklace.
Oh my
Well,
god.
that'll do it for me, though. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I'm over it.
Yeah,
I love you. What are we mad about?
Let's renew our vows tomorrow.
Right.
You guys, I have a dirty joke.
Okay.
At least it wasn't a pearl necklace in the shower, okay?
Wait, like
I
the
had to.
sexual pearl necklace?
I just had to. Yeah.
I don't
I'm
even
sorry.
know what to say
wow.
about. Yeah.
I thought it was a really smart, funny joke.
It
So.
was.
No,
it is
applaud.
funny.
Hashtag, right.
I'm here
Hashtag.
for it.
I can't.
But I mean, he might as well have. He just like gave her diamonds in the shower and just banged her. I mean, and it's this angry thing. And I will say that like this is what I was talking about at the beginning episode, that in the book, this has changed a lot, and I think it's really interesting. She went to somebody on her own, a therapist.
Oh.
Not together in a million years, and he admitted that he basically was violent against her with this therapist. That never happened in the book, ever.
That whole scene, it made me feel really bad for Celeste because she tried to cover up the fact that he was abusive, more abusive than he is, and then
Like
in
most
that,
women do.
Yeah, and in that session, I don't even want to say almost. He flipped it on her and made it look like this is your fault. And I'm
Like most abusers
wait
do.
a minute.
Right,
Yeah, because I'm like,
exactly.
how can you even try to flip this? And I'm like, she's literally, you know your truth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, Perry, you know what happens between you two, and you know what she could be saying on this couch, but she's not. And at the same time, you know that she's protecting you, and then you're going to take this opportunity to flip it on her?
Yeah. 'Cause
I'm like,
he's-
dude, I'm like, you actually abuse her.
You're
Like,
right.
I'm like, how can you even, like, try to pretend that
Well,
this
I
is her
also
fault?
don't think that this is like realistic of like a therapy session with an abuser, because I don't think an abuser would like admit his deepest fear, which is abandonment, which is her leaving him. So it was interesting to me that he went in there and was like, I'm afraid she's going to leave me, because I just don't think that's what an abuser does. Like, they're
Right.
so manipulative. But I do think that they would do something like turn it around like that, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was kind of out of character of somebody who's like abusive like that. So I was kind of confused by it all, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, don't like make her feel bad, and like
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's his intention. Like, I'm gonna make you feel bad, and make you think that I think you're gonna leave me, so that you're gonna pity me and you're gonna come back and be like, oh, I need you. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like he's so
Psychotic.
controlling. And,
Yeah,
like,
and that's what it
literally-
is,
He's
though.
very controlling.
It's control. He's manipulating her by buying her different things, by flashing different like money and all these, and just whatever else that she probably likes. But I mean, the way that he acts and his behavior, it's very, very, very evident that he's an abuser, and he's obviously done this before, or he's been shown that in his life before. So I mean, when I saw the counselor scene, I was like, well, Celeste, and if anything, okay, take this as a tip that's like, okay, I probably should go. Like, I
Right.
shouldn't be in this situation anymore. But I feel like she loves him so much that she overlooks everything that's
Everything
bad
she
about him.
Well, I
Yeah.
actually think one of the viewers that's in the chat with us right now said something really smart about Celeste. They think that Celeste might have a really big case of Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but
And she also, has two boys that she
So it's
loves
hard.
more than
that's true.
anything in the world, and they
Exactly.
really do look like Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just thought, though, it was a bit unrealistic. I have no idea. Couples therapists, if a partner admits to physical violence, like, don't they have to do something? But not if the victim says they.
I think
Not if they're like an adult and they don't say that they're gonna like kill, or you're only
Threatening.
only if you are a threat to yourself or others. Like
like
okay, so that
mortally a
sounds hard.
threat.
Yeah,
but I'm
like-
saying and I think the fact that she was in the room while it was happening and the way he said it made it seem like this is a one-off. Like it sounded because the way they were talking about it, it was kind of like, oh, I grabbed her on her shoulder really hard. Which you grabbed
choked her.
neck. I'm like
Right.
her shoulder. I'm like, no, you were choking her.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what I'm saying. The way he described it made it sound less than what it was, and so I think she probably would. You know what I mean? I don't think the therapist would be
like you
let me
definitely have to
this.
report if if he's like threatening to kill her, but she's also in the room. So as a therapist, like if my husband comes to and sees this therapist and says I'm going to kill my wife, then it's the therapist's duty to call the wife and say your husband's going to kill you and just warn them.
Right.
And then also you want to 302 them to the hospital, but
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But,
Your husband's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So
Right. You knew,
that is
but-
kind of a threat to yourself and others, right? Being
it
abusive,
is.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she at least wrote something down, like asterisk, FYI.
Yeah.
Well, and we saw in the preview that it appears that Celeste goes back by herself. Because there was like a conversation in the preview where it was like, well, it's the fact that you're afraid to talk to your husband. I can't remember exactly what the quote was. So maybe that's something that does come from this. Like, because he was abusive, she took a note and said, I want you to come back alone and let me know what happened. So
Yeah.
maybe that is something that we will see later. But
Which that scares me too, because if he's like an abuser, he's not going to want her to go to therapist by herself. So I'm like scared.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's going to
I
want to
know.
have control.
Yeah.
Lastly, I want to talk about Jane and Ziggy and this family tree situation. I mean, it was really sad. And are you guys thinking at this point Ziggy didn't choke Amabella? Are you like over this, or do you still think it's a possibility?
I still think it could be a possibility because we did see like a little like aggression when he threw the chair and like slammed his door, but I still think it's like one of Perry and Celeste's kids. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I have no idea, honestly.
yeah, part of me feels like this whole Amabella situation is like a distraction.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's what we're supposed to be focusing on because there's something else that we need to be paying attention
Right.
to. Because part of me
Good
feels like
point.
this whole child thing is like, I don't know. I feel like if
Like a euphemism?
I don't know if it's like
Because
a
you don't want to say,
euphemism,
yeah,
but
because you don't
like-
want to say it's been blown out of proportion because it is a serious thing.
But at the same time, it's like,
Yeah.
we could have handled this.
This is what I'm saying. I'm like, why are we still talking about Amabella? Like, Amabella, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a terrible person.
I
But I'm just
know,
saying that
yeah.
kids roughhouse, and like, there's a difference between like a kid like maliciously trying to hurt someone,
Well, and a
like hurt,
continuous.
and I feel like if it's that bad, where's the teacher for one? That's my other thing. Is like, if it's literally that bad, why is a teacher not doing something about it?
Or why are they still in the same class together?
Right, remove them, like, get them away from each other.
Yeah, that's why it's just a lot of like just little circles that just aren't being filled right now. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so is this the entire premise? Like, are we just like, and I feel the same way. Like, are we supposed to focus on this, or is there something else
going
that's
on.
just in the background, like in our subconscious? But I don't know. I mean, I feel like for it to be I don't know. I don't know if Ziggy. I don't know. That's just, to me, that's a weird thing to think about. Like if it's Perry's child, because Ziggy. I mean, I feel like I understand why that Ziggy has that aggression, because it's like I'm asking and begging my mother to tell me who my father is, and I don't know why she won't tell me, and that's all he can really kind of sink his mind into is the fact of I don't know who my dad is. I have this family tree to put up, but I have no name to put there. And all these other kids are gonna have a name, and I'm just gonna be sitting there like, okay, well. And then if another kid finds
Calls
another
it
reason,
out,
yeah, and that's just gonna be another reason why Ziggy stands out amongst everyone else. And he's like, look, I'm trying not to get bullied anymore. This girl's telling me that I choked her. Mom, I need you to step in like right now. Like, and then I feel like it was very symbolic. When he was going up to bat, because it was like, I think, Jane, you need to go up to bat for your kid. It's time for you to start. I understand, like, and that's why, and at first I wrote down, like, girl, that's very irresponsible for you to tell your kid that he doesn't have a father. But at the same time, it's like, how do you have that conversation with your child to say, no, I actually was, sexually assaulted, and your father, I literally don't know who he is.
This is what he told me.
Right.
But I don't even know if that's the truth.
Right.
I don't know. I feel bad for their situation, especially Ziggy, because I feel like he's confused. But I get it.
And it's not his fault. Like, he's a kid, and he's innocent in this entire situation. So it sucks because you're punishing him for having this aggression, but you're also not explaining to him why you have that aggression. So
I think that it needs to be explained, especially when a kid starts having questions and getting angry.
right,
Like, you gotta figure it out.
Absolutely.
And I mean,
So what would you do though?
Yeah, I'm saying, how would you?
Would
I
you
don't
just
know.
lie and make
That's
up
what-
some other story?
I don't know. It's like I've never been in that position. So I don't know. But what was so interesting is that Jane said that Madeline was the first person she's ever
Yeah,
told.
that's
That
Yeah.
was. I was like, oh, why? Because I feel like you don't know Madeline that well.
Okay.
Jane.
Right.
You just met this, and to me, I'm like, you've seen how she interacts with other women.
Right.
So I'm just confused as to why this would be the person you decide. to
At the same
confide
time,
in,
I do
but-
feel like she is being a good friend to Jane.
Oh, for sure.
Because like
She
she
is-
comes over to help with these like homework assignments that are just ridiculous. Like
Well,
as
and-
if these people don't have enough to worry about.
Right.
and
In
giving
the
their kids
in the
homework
book, like
assignments.
that was actually a huge thing that she, Jane like really freaks out because she doesn't realize that it's due the next day. So it's this actual actual like huge panic attack on Jane's part, and she calls her like crying and this whole
Yeah.
thing, and Madeline like gets up from what she's doing and is like, oh, and she's in bed I think with Ed, and she's just like, oh my gosh, of course I'm gonna come over, I'll bring you cardboard and markers, and it was so nice. And
Madeline's such a great person. She
I do
is.
think
She's awful at the same time as being the greatest person ever. But it's
Right.
like she has her flaws. But
I think she's very well intentioned. She's a very
yeah, she is. And
just don't want to get on our bad side.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like she's gonna be that old neighbor that's always nosy, but at the end of the day, like if you get hurt like playing in the yard,
That's
she'd be
so
like, "Oh,
sad
come
because I
in."
feel like that's what I'm like.
What?
I feel like I like would do anything for anybody, but I feel like I also get pissed off at people, which is why I'm like, I don't want this to be my life, so please save me, people.
Right.
Like I'm relying on you.
I'm the same way. We don't need saving. We just need to learn from television.
Yeah, I
okay?
know. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh.
Well, on that note, guys, let's get into some predictions for next week.
I love it. I love
Do
it.
you have?
Also, wait, what is your creepy?
We already talked about it with Abby leaving. That Abigail.
Oh,
leaving.
I thought
that
you had
was
a
my
pervy
moment.
moment. I thought you said,
Oh, you're talking about Bonnie.
oh,
Bonnie.
that was hilarious.
Yeah, Bonnie dancing and like everybody was staring at
oh,
her.
that was pervy. Oh,
Yeah,
All
guys,
the men
the
just
guys are
staring
getting
at her?
boners.
I'm sorry.
That was amazing.
I just feel like Zoe Kravitz is very attractive, so I don't
She
think
is.
that's
But
No,
not
I
to
know.
my husband.
Yeah.
My husband better not just be standing in a group of men and just be like, I'm just gonna look at her.
It's
No,
so funny.
that's weird.
The lady's like she's like, I saw people getting boners. Like,
Whatever.
Or
Yeah.
erections or something. I was like, come on.
Yeah, it was kind of hilarious.
It was
It was
very
so
funny.
funny.
But if we don't have
Prediction
any
time.
predictions music,
Yeah, do you have?
I do have one. Oh, there we go.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'm sorry, I got us off track. But I'll get us back on track with my prediction. I feel like all signs are, for me, pointing to the fact that Perry is Ziggy's dad. Because I think
you stole it.
Oh no!
you're
I take it back.
fine. No.
I just feel like if you think about, so we know that Jane, like, she's like, I don't think she is lying to Ziggy when she says she doesn't know the dad, because I think she like legitimately is like, he told me this, but then he disappeared. And then if you listen to the way Perry travels, he's always gone. And then the fact that he's so controlling over Celeste, that means that, to me, usually people who are controlling are hiding something. There's a reason they're trying to manipulate and control you. It's because they don't, like, they're trying to distract you with this so you don't see what's in their other hand. And so he strikes me as the type of guy who would definitely have affairs. And I feel like that is the reason that Jane moved back, because I think that it happened in this city.
But why would she move back though?
Because I think she's trying to find him. I think that is the ultimate goal for Jane, is to actually figure out who Ziggy's dad is, and I think she knows that it happened there and that he is from there.
Okay.
And she Saxby, I think, is the name.
Saxton.
Saxton Banks.
Banks, that's what it is. That's the name that she got. So, and that is a real person. But I just feel like ultimately that person is going to end up being Perry, and maybe Saxton is like Perry's business partner or something like that. But I feel like he is Ziggy's dad.
So before we move to another prediction, if that is the case, next episode we see them like on the computer together. What do you think will happen if she realizes it's Perry? If Celeste is there when she finds out?
That's the thing.
She'll leave.
You think Celeste will leave?
I think Celeste will leave. I think
I think
Celeste,
she'll deny it.
You
I feel
think
like,
so?
I feel like Celeste is so.
I think Celeste is
wrapped
tired.
up.
I feel like Celeste. I mean, my
Looking for
prediction.
an excuse, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, yes, I agree. I feel like my prediction, I feel like Celeste is going to be like, look, I got to go. If that is the case, I don't know if Perry is Ziggy's dad. I feel like, I don't know. There's just so many speculations going around with Ziggy. But I do think that Celeste is going to leave, and that was my original prediction. So if that is the case, then yeah, I think Celeste is going to grow up and be like, no, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And I do think that Abigail is going to be having some hardships with Bonnie.
Who do you guys think is the actual person that gets murdered?
Perry. I think he's dead.
Really? You don't think it's one of the women?
No,
Yeah, I
I
was
definitely
gonna
think
say,
it's a
I think
guy.
Really?
I think it's
I-
a woman. I think it's a woman too.
Interesting.
I don't. That's kind of hard to say. I kind of think it might be Celeste.
Oh wow.
I think it might be Celeste.
I guess to me, I also think that the killer is Jane, or at least her gun is going to be used in it.
Whoa.
But I'm saying, why would they bring that gun up today? That's
That was a weird
that's
moment.
random.
True.
That was
So-
which we didn't talk about, a very interesting, weird
Right.
moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when she had that like
Her ocean
weird
scene.
dream. Well, that
Yeah.
was also scary. But I mean, the dream thing was weird.
Yeah, it
when someone's
was.
breaking into the house.
Oh, yeah.
That
I'm
was
like,
so
that was
scary. That's like literally an actual nightmare of mine.
So
Yeah.
Sam, what's your prediction?
Okay, so I think my
need more deets,
prediction
come on.
is that I know everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
No,
why I'm
I-
asking.
no, I'm just
Tell
kidding.
us.
Okay, so I don't think I know everything. I think things will change, but I think that Madeline is gonna kind of be a red herring of sorts because I feel as though they are writing her in to be like, with all the interviews with the detective, oh, Madeline is this, like,
Right,
blah, 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 blah,
definitely.
blah. And I don't think that's it. I think that with Abigail and Madeline, things will continue. Like, Abigail's going to do some weird things, and so will Madeline. And the story is deeper than just, her wanting to leave because she didn't feel comfortable in her own home. I think that Jane is also being very suspicious, and we're going to uncover a lot of secrets about her. And Celeste and Perry, it breaks my heart. It's such a, and like I said, Nicole Kidman and Alexander Skarsgård, they're so amazing
They are.
at
They're
those
really
scenes
good.
together.
Oh my God,
and it still like makes you so sad watching
Yeah.
them, even though you know who's right and who is wrong.
Like kind of
Yeah.
turned on. I don't know, just-
Yeah, I mean,
I know what you.
Like,
Because
kind of
I like
like,
that
ooh.
passion too, but at
Just
the
like-
same time,
just
I'm like,
like,
you can't be.
ooh.
We can't. You
Yeah.
can't just
Yeah,
hit
you
me.
can't be
Done
doing
with
You
it
it.
can't
at
hit
this
me in the
point,
face.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you
and
know,
then-
but there are moments where he's like talking, and I'm like, but I get it. I get how you get wrapped up in him.
well, I
Maybe
mean,
he's just attracted.
True Blood.
no.
So
I don't know. Maybe I'm just blind because I'm
he's
just
so.
like,
I don't know. He's not. Well, I'm not.
you don't think he's attracted? Oh wow.
wow.
See, he looks like every other dude in the world. Like, I would never be able to pick him
Yeah.
out. Like, I just couldn't.
I would like if I saw him at a
disagree.
mall, I'd be like, oh, okay.
I saw him at a
still,
mall,
like,
I'd
if
be
you
like,
put up
wow.
3 pictures up of dudes that look just like him, I wouldn't be able to pick him
Well,
out.
I'm just glad there's more for me in the world.
Right.
Since you
that's
guys
what I'm
don't
saying. We-
No, well,
like
we're
to-
yeah.
We are clubs, so
They're in a
we're
relationship.
Oh, wait.
Right.
Set-
Well,
Maybe
right.
that's what it
The
is.
single, right? It literally
Being
right.
single
We're
makes
good.
the lenses different.
Right, it's okay.
On that
Play the
note,
drink song.
you guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, live chatting, and commenting
Yes,
throughout the
thanks,
week.
guys.
Let us know your book theories, your theories if you haven't read the book, all of that. One more time, where can we find you all on social media?
Hey guys, I'm Jessie Zahner. Thanks for coming by. You can find me on all social media at AthleChick.
And my name is Raquel Harris again, and you can find me on all social media at Raquel Harris TV.
You can find me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 N's Graham and on Instagram at Instagram.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. Use the hashtag ABTV. What do we say? BLL.
L.
Yeah, big ol'
Yeah. Oh, you guys scared me. I was like, wait a minute.
No, I'm
It's like
like
PLL, but
right?
BLL.
BLL.
ABTV, BLL. And yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.